Right now, Virginia Governor Youngkin vetoes dozens of more bills, but he did greenlight a few gun bills. These are the latest actions by the governor as he has to respond to all of the bills passed by the General Assembly. News 3 reporter Brendan Ponton has a look at some of the bills.
In his latest actions, Governor Youngkin vetoed 30 more bills, but he did approve 2 gun bills, including one that bans a device that would turn a gun into an automatic weapon.
13-year-old Lucia Bramer was walking home in March 2021 in Henrico County when a 14-year-old shot and killed her. The teen was sentenced to 60 years in prison, but the guardian, whose gun was used, was never convicted of a crime. Bramer's parents have been pushing for lawmakers to clarify the law.
Our daughter, Lucia, was stolen from us. To people who would never have a chance to meet her and see her bright smile, she is merely a statistic.
And now Governor Youngkin has signed the bill to allow adults to be charged with a felony if a kid, including a teenager, gets a hold of a gun if they've been deemed to be a threat.
Folks should not be letting those kids have access to guns.
Democrats applauding the governor for signing this bill and another to ban devices that can turn guns into automatic weapons called auto sears. Youngkin called the 2 bills, quote, common sense.
The governor made our streets a little safer today by passing common sense gun legislation.
But he did veto 30 other bills, including a bill to ban the future sale of assault weapons and another to ban guns at public colleges and universities. In his veto statement on the college bill, Youngkin said the bill did not consider the numerous variations of Virginia's colleges. He also vetoed 3 bills to strengthen Virginia's already existing red flag laws, where someone's guns can be seized if they're deemed to be a threat to themselves or others. In one of his statements, he says the bill treats the Second Amendment as a secondary right compared to other constitutional guarantees. Another veto targets a bill that would fine people for leaving guns unattended in their cars. Youngkin says the focus should be on the person stealing the gun.
So far, Youngkin has vetoed 80 bills, which could be on pace to set a new record by a Virginia governor. He has until April 8th to act on all of the pieces of legislation passed by the Virginia General Assembly, and then lawmakers will get a chance to respond. In Norfolk, Brendan Ponton, News 3.